Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to Apex Racing TV's coverage of the 2019 Season 2 IMSA Sportscar Championship. My name's Scott Newton, and alongside me tonight is Daniel Leet. Welcome, Daniel. Looking as though that it's going to be a cracking opening, given the fact that we had over 50 cars sign up for tonight's race.
Yeah, good evening, Scotty. Good evening to all the viewers out there as well. Yeah, looking forward to this one. Sebring makes a hell of a circuit to be here for the GTEs and P cars, so looking forward to this.
Yeah, absolutely. We're taking a look at the weather for today. 22 degrees ambient with a 32% humidity. Partly cloudy and 11 km/h wind. It looks as though that it's sort of a late evening condition, so it should provide some nice grippy tarmac out for the guys today.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, a lot of the guys find in a lot of these races you do get reasonably hot temperatures, so the cooler conditions will certainly be welcomed. Coming into the night time for this event is going to be interesting as well, especially as we get the laps under the belts. We start to see some overtakes come on in the back half of the race. It's going to be interesting to see how these guys manage that with the fading light conditions and then transitioning into night.
Yeah, absolutely. Currently we've got just trying to see if we can get so we see Josh Anderson into turn 1, just put in a time of 1 minute 54.3, so he did not improve in that last lap. He did actually coming up to Zachary Hanlon coming up into the Sunset Bend. He's in the Mercedes EMG GT3 class. He's actually the pole position at the moment for that class, so we will see whether he can improve. Last lap time of 1 minute 57.5.
Yeah, and we kind of expect Josh to be pretty quick around here. He's great in these cars. He's quick in anything he runs in these days. So look for him to be very, very good as this race.
Yeah, absolutely. We've only really got 40 seconds left of qualifying. Looks as though that everyone's pretty much put in qualifying times. Just look at Wayne Wortley there, just aborting that lap. I think he's put in a time that he's actually improved into 14th overall, 13th in class, 1 minute 56.3. So, seeing if there's anyone else on track. Olive Viroli. It looks as though that he's just doing some cider laps on race fuel, because yeah, he's going over the 2-lap allocation for qualifying. So. Yeah, just as we see that the session has concluded, we'll get up your qualifying results now. Okay, so Blake Neck takes the pole position overall in the Alpine Stars Geodesic Racing Daytona prototype at 1 minute 50.673. Alongside him is Samuel Docker. I don't think that he actually put in a qualifying time, so he will start on the front row. But in the GTE class, we got Josh Anderson on pole position with a time that was 3.5 seconds off the DP pole time. Lubomir Schweitz in second place in GTE, Corey Ott in third, Andre Lodkowitz, Sam Sutton in 6th in GTE, Trent Thomas in position 8 overall, Luca von Leitner, Alexander Smolar, Cameron Stubber, and Johan Hellemans running out the top 12. Teddy Leloup in 13th, Nacho Llanos in 14th, Wayne Wortley in 15th, Ewan Meredith, Oliver Viroli, Grant Henderson, Renaud Luke in 19th, David Lassonde in 20th, Coppitters Laurent in 21st, and that rounds out the GTE field. The pole position for the GT3s where it goes to Zachary Hanlon. Awesome time. an awesome effort from him. Sven Bebeva in 23rd overall, and P2 in GT3. Jake Goodwin in 24th. BJ Kennedy in 25th. Christian Heine. Nathan Nightingale and Max Cullen rounding out the field in 28th position. But yeah, the pace car leading the field around now. We've got a full pace lap around here at Sebring, which will be another 1 or 2 minutes before the actual start of the race. But what are your thoughts on the strategies out there today, Daniel? Given the fact that it's cooler conditions out there.
It's a little bit hard to sort of know. I think a lot of guys are probably going to want to run it as long as they can while they've got the tyres in there. We might even see a few guys maybe short stint on the fuel at the initial start just to get that jump and get away from what's going on out there. But really not too sure. It's a bit of an open one, and being it's a new season, I think there's so many strategies these guys could play out and unfold. So going to be very interesting to see what they do come up with. But yeah, I guess it's anyone's game, really.
Yeah, absolutely. Certainly looking for a decent battle between, I'd say, the top 10 in the GTE. I can actually show you the actual cars. So we've got BMW on pole position for the GTEs, then the Porsche in the second, BMW in the third. So fairly dominated by BMWs in the top 5 in GTE. And then Porsche's in through the mix as well. I see a Ferrari and a Ford as well. So solid mix of cars throughout the GTE field. And in GT3, if I can bring that up quickly, I can mainly see that it's dominated by Audis, I think. So, but there is also a mix of Mercedes as well in there, so it's good to see.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think a lot of people probably expected with the release of the BMW coming for Season 2 that it would be the dominant car, but it's great to see some challenges, Porsche, and it's good to still see a couple of the other manufacturers, the odd Ferrari or a Ford still getting in there.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, just as I come around the sunset bend, I'll hand it over to you, Daniel, for the start.
Green.
Oh, so the lights are out. No, we've got contact in GTE further back. Sadly, there's a huge incident there. But it looks as though that's the DP of Black Neck streaking away well. Josh Anderson is in the lead of the GTE field, but it's all over the back of Sam Docker at the moment. And he'll be looking to see if he can get past that Daytona prototype as quickly as he can. But looking further back, it seems as though that most of the GT field has got through clean. Have a look at the GT3s. Zachary Handlin has pulled away over a second over the start, and it looks as though that the GT3 field has gotten away very, very cleanly. But yeah, just looking back up at the GTE field, I'm not sure whether Daniel's having any technical issues at the moment, but let's see what we can do with regards to looking at the back of Josh Anderson. The gap at the moment between the front GTEs is about just under a second for the top 3 podium positions, so looking as though that Libermir is managing to hold on quite well in that Porsche, but we'll see as they're coming around the conclusion of lap number 1. See that Blake next streaked out to a 3.7 second lead over the course of the first lap over Sam Docker, and then a GTE 7/10 of a second lead for Josh Anderson over Libermir Schweitz. And then looking a little bit further back, Sam Sutton is back in 6th place, but still on the back of Trent Thomas in Trick Spin Sports, so just getting a little bit out of shape for the exit of the hairpin turn 6, but running up to Cunningham Corner to see what he can do, whether he can close that gap up a little bit. It looks relatively much the same, so but we'll see whether Sam Sutton can close up over the course of the next few laps. Yeah, I just got some technical issues on Dan's side, so we'll be waiting to hear back from him shortly. Just looking a little bit further back, in 16th place overall, Oliver Viroli, battle between 14, 15, 16th in GTE. This one's holding on quite nicely. The fact that these all of them BMW, so they should be fairly matched across the board. But we'll see how their driver skill is faring over the course of the race. But Andrei Vladkowicz putting all sorts of pressure on, getting all sorts of pressure from Cameron Stubber coming up into Cunningham Corner. But as they're going through the Tower Corner now, running on to the curb there, looks as though that they're holding station at the moment, about 3/10 of a second gap at the moment. Coming up to the infamous Le Mans Corner. I'm sure that you were seeing all the videos of the Sebring 12 hour, how that went down in the top split. But yeah, we'll see if we can get him on board. Or as he runs wide, Cameron Stubber runs wide. And yeah, loses a boatload of time. That'll cost him at least about 0.6 of a second, I would say. But Andre putting a last lap time of a 56.0, comparing that to 56.1 for Luca. So going deep under brakes into the hairpin turn 6, Andre closing up just a little bit, but Gav holding station at about 0.4 of a second. Just looking a little bit further up the front in GTE at the moment. Trent Thomas runs wide. Oh wow, that'll put Sam Sutton alongside and going through the double left-hander. There he gets through. So the mistake from Trent Thomas cost him dearly, and sadly that will put him down in 7th place overall, but still inside the top 5 for the GTE class. Coming up to Sunset Bend now. Was looking at the inside, Trent Thomas, but certainly couldn't put a move on there. But Sam running a little bit wide there, and but it allows him to pull away. Gaps over 0.4 now. But just looking back at Cameron Stubber as well, he's closed the gap up to 0.3 up to Andre Lukowicz, both in the Porsche, so should be fairly evenly matched. Trying to find a great camera angle as they're running through through Cunningham and then all the way up into to Tower Corner. But having said that though, looking at the DP field as well, Blake Nix is absolutely blitzing Samuel Doka at the moment. Gap at the moment between the two of those is near enough on 14 seconds, so we'll see how that one will play out, but it looks as though that Blake's got it pretty comfortably, I think. But, oh, we got GT3 off in the back there, but yeah, taking a look at the GT3 field, Zach Hanlon pretty much checking out at the moment. Gap between the next GT3 is about 8 seconds, nearing on 9 seconds. So Zach doing an awesome job at the moment. We're only 10 minutes into this race. We'll see how the strategies play out. But, looking at Ewan Meredith, it's a battle between him and Johan Hellemans. Gap at the moment is under 0.4 of a second, so we'll see what sort of top speeds they're hitting at the moment up into turn 6. So they're only just getting to 6th gear, so yeah, 240-ish kilometers an hour up into the hairpin, so that's actually quite quick for the GTEs. Must have a quite balanced setup for the BMW. To be honest, I've never actually tried the BMW yet, even though that it's a nearly released car. It's certainly holding its own out there. Gap at the moment has actually built up over the course of that sector. Johan struggling just that little bit, and yeah, the gap's opening up even further, so it's opened up to about 0.6 of a second. So as I see that there was a GT3 just jumping out the way of the GTEs. So we're going side by side. Yeah, sorry about that. I was just trying to make sure that Dan's jumping back to the server. He's having some technical issues at the moment, but yeah, Ewan Meredith are still holding on to the 12th place overall. I see that Oliver Viroli has managed to close up to this battle. He's up one position. Just have a look at all of the position gains, all of the drivers. So the biggest mover forward in the race at the moment is equal for Henderson and Luke. So great effort from those guys in battling for P10 and 11 at the moment in GTE. So good effort from those guys. Just looking up further quickly, Andre Vlokowicz and Luca von Leitner. That battle was really close. Going into Le Mans, it was about 0.2 of a second. But yeah, that's certainly opened up just that little bit as they had to give each other space. Going through Sunset Bend now, you can definitely see that the night lights are definitely becoming a factor now. That's yeah, gap at the moment between Luca and Andre is hovering around about 0.3 of a second, going through the hairpin now, up through to Cunningham. So yeah, just running through Le Mans now. So yeah, the gap has opened up just slightly, so Luca being able to put the hammer down and open that gap up to about 0.5. But with the draft, actually, I'm surprised that Andre's closing back in. So certainly being able to hold on and doing a great job there, is Andre. Looking further up the front, we'll see that Josh Anderson's holding his lead fairly comfortably for Van der Velde Sim Racing in the BMW M8. Lubomir Schweitz in second, Coryot in P3 at the moment. Sam Sutton and Trent Thomas pretty much holding station. That gap is only just under a second. But an early stopper. We got Oliver Viroli in the pit lane, so that's a earlier than expected stop, I would have thought, but playing the early strategy, see if we can get the undercut, and we'll see what he can do with that one. Zachary Hanlon just jumping Oliver on the track. See what battles are forming in GT3. It looks as though that everyone's fairly spread out. We've got Zach Hanlon. If I go. Just taking a look at the gaps. You got 13-second gap from P1 to P2. Then closest battle is between second and third, between Beba and Kennedy, but then it's fairly evenly spread out after that. Heine and Goodwin about 16 and 13 seconds apart respectively. In Jeep, in the Corvette C7 prototype class, Blake Nett absolutely dominating at the moment, 24 seconds ahead of Samuel Docker. So I think that one is looking a pretty solid result for Blake. But yeah, main battles in GTE. Actually, Johan Hellemans coming up to the back of Ewan Meredith. These two have been pretty much glued all of the first third of the race. Actually, there we go. Let's see if we can make a look into turn one, but looks like he's a little bit too far back at the moment. But yeah, it has the whole position, I think. So, but Grant Henderson. So getting all sorts of pressure from Renault Luke. BMW M8 versus Porsche 919 RSR. It's looking like a fairly solid battle. Yeah, it looks as though that that gap has been holding fairly consistent. See if we can actually go on board the gearbox cam. Oh, it's, Grant makes a huge mistake going into the Sunset Bend. Let's see if we can catch a replay of that one. So you're coming up into Sunset Bend. Looks as though he just runs too deep and couldn't pull it up, sadly. So he just hits the tyre barrier and fortunately he's able to continue on, but yeah, loses the position. So that promotes Andrei Lokowicz into 11th overall and P9 in class. We go back to live. Johan Hellemans still all over the back of Ewan Meredith. This is the closest battle on the track for GTE and in the whole field, so we'll stay on board with this one for now. This is so that some of the GT3s are starting to come through the pit lane as well. It's a little bit early from my expectations, but that's the strategy they want to play. They've still got about 22.5 minutes to go. Or sorry, 23.5 minutes to go. As Meredith gets all out of shape on the exit of Le Mans. As Hellerman's trying to go around the outside at Sunset Bend, but he'll go for the cutback. But he's not able to pull it off. Meredith doing a great job defensive driving. And up into turn 1. Meredith, Hellerman's will be too far back to do anything about Meredith. Having said that though, Meredith is got all out of shape there, right a little bit wide, but that'll give Hellerman's the opportunity to run it up the inside if he can get deep enough, but Meredith parking it on the inside there, closing the door pretty early, so letting him know that he's not got the opportunity to make the overtake. He'll have to go the hard way. But yeah, the night time is definitely upon us now, which is good to see. Still a few clouds around, but yeah, that night sky is definitely beginning to shine now. Always Meredith runs a little bit wide. Is certainly struggling. I think he might have a little bit too much heat in those tyres, and yeah, that's certainly compromised. Always Meredith runs all sorts of out of shape. Whether he'll dive into the pit lane, and he does. So Hellerman's will have to put in a few banzai laps. We'll have to see what Meredith is able to do on his out laps from the pit lane. So whether Hellerman's will be able to jump. But yeah, looking at your leaders in GTE at the moment, Josh Anderson has got a fairly comfortable lead at the moment, 4.4 seconds over Lewin Schweitz, and a further 4.4 to 4.5 back from that is Corey Ott, so he's doing an awesome job. In third place, gap for Sam Sutton has actually opened up quite a lot. Be curious to find out what happened to Trent Thomas. Just we're going to replay now. See what happened to Trent. Runs it deep, or just locks up the brakes, the rears, and just looped it around. He'll have to be cautious there, and yeah, he's very safe in doing that, and rejoins back in 7th place. But now that Luca von Leitner is in the pit lane, he'll move back up into 6th place. So Luca's actually come out in about 12th place in GTE. at this time. See that he's getting the headlight flash from Teddy Leloup, giving him the hurry up, but with the sort of cooler tyres on Laurent's car, I'd assume that he would be able to push pretty quickly as he trying to go around the outside of Johan Hellemans at the moment, but Johan's got that door firmly closed, and that'll send Luca through. So good job for him. As Samuel Docker is in the pit lane, second of the GTs actually. I've seen that Neck has been in the pit lane now, 44-second pit lane time. It's actually been fairly consistent through the GTE and the DP sort of pit lane times, but then you've got sort of a 17-second pit lane time for the GT3, so slightly slower pit lane time for the GT3. Comparing that to the faster classes. As who is that in the pit lane? That is Coppitas Laurent. So he'll be taking his service. But yeah, just looking further back, Oliver Viroli as well. He's back up into 16th place. He's actually where he started this race, so no positions lost, but sorry, no positions gained, but thankfully no positions lost for him, as he's putting all sorts of pressure on Coppitas Laurent. Check in to see how Andrei Lokowicz is going at the moment. He's got Samuel Docker at the moment, the Daytona prototype. That Daytona prototype will be trying to get past the GTE as best quickly as he can, but I think that he'll be just trying to hold station at least until the GTE pits. Then he can make full use of his tyres. But given the fact that Blake Neck's 46 seconds ahead, I think that the the Daytona prototype field will be set in stone. But yeah, the Daytona prototype will be pretty much able to get past him on the straight. So yeah, that'll promote Sam into the 7th place overall. But we see that the top 5 in GTE have pitted right now, so see what their stops are. Just see that Josh has come out of the box now. Actually, we'll see whether is it Hellerman's and so actually Johan jumped Meredith quite convincingly. Whether Meredith has had another issue. But yeah, Hellerman's is in the pit lane, so this will be the first stop for him. So you'll get the track map up now. See whether Meredith is able to stay ahead. So Meredith's coming around the final corner right now. Hellerman's just leaving the box now, so this will be really, really close. It's just leaving the pit lane now, so if I can... So you see... Oh, there he is. So Hellerman's has managed to jump Meredith in the pit lane. So the Porsche has jumped that BMW. So great job there from Johan to be promoted up into 12th place overall. But yeah, there's a string of was there 4 GTEs and 1 Daytona prototype. It's actually Blake Neck trying to put a lap on this group of GTEs. So we've got right on board the Daytona prototype overall leader of Blake Neck. So as Blake Neck's coming around to Sunset Bed now to complete lap number 19. The gap at the moment between him and Sam Ducko is at well over 50 seconds now, so don't want to put the commentator's curse on him at the moment, but excuse me, that Blake's doing an exceptional job at the moment, being very, very consistent. Last lap time for him was 52.6. Compare that to Sam Docker's time over 53.5. So he's going over 9 cents a lap. Because Blake had to get out of the throttle just to make sure that he didn't have to overcorrect on the draft of the 911 in the foreground. But yeah, it's just coming up to a little bit of traffic, but just going to show what the best times of each class is at the moment. So the best lap time, Blake Neck, 51.5. So that's pretty on it, to be fair, in my opinion. The fastest lap time in GTE, if I can scurry through, that will go to Josh Anderson. And in GT3 at the moment, the fastest lap time will go to, looks as though Zachary Hanlon. So, very, very dominant effort from Zach in the GT3 field at the moment. But, just looking at the battle, Laurent, Meredith, and Hellerman's, this battle's been going on for pretty much the whole race. But, Laurent and Meredith is the closest battle on the track, 0.6 of a second. I see that, who was that? That was Oliver Veroli. See whether he had an excursion. Just on the timing screen, it just looks as though he didn't have any excursions. So, yeah, it just might have been getting out of the way, or might have had a small technical issue. But Meredith on the Rent, 0.3 of a second gap. Not close enough, but certainly piling on the pressure. So just quickly running through your field again. Once again, we're coming up to the 40-minute mark, about 85% during the race distance. Blake Neck is current overall leader, Sam Docker in second. GTE leader, Josh Anderson, 1.5 seconds ahead of. Yeah, 1.5 seconds ahead of Levin Schweitz. Corey Ott, a further close to 5 seconds back. Trent Thomas managed to get back up into 4th place. Sam must have had an issue that we missed. See if I can just quickly go back to that incident, if we can. Oh, is this run wide? Oh no, there we go. So it's just coming up to Sunset Bend now. Oh, he's just clipped the inside curb at Sunset Bend, and oh no, that's an unfortunate mistake there from Sam. See whether this has created any extra cause and effect, whether he's got understeer under the bent steering. That must have been a little bit further in the lap. But yeah, Blake next setting purple sector 1. So he's certainly on it. He's trying to go for the fastest lap. Hellerman's just crashed. See what's happened here. He's fallen back 3 places due to it. So coming up into Sunset Bend. Oh, he's just lost the back end. Luckily, everyone's been able to jump out of the way. Thankfully, Johann's been able to continue on, but sadly, he's lost the only 3 positions. So he's currently sitting in 15th overall, but yeah, sadly that Hellerman's lost that position there. Lorenz and Viroli. Gap at the moment between those drivers. So Meredith and Viroli, gap is about 9 tenths at the moment. So if I manage to get it on the right time. Or as they go side by side through the oh no! Oh, it's got on too hard on the power, and Viroli just went off track. See if you can get it on board quickly. Yeah, he's just got on the grass, and yeah, that traction control has bit him sadly. But just quickly show question in the chat. Is it a field that's been dominated by BMWs? Sadly, it's not fully dominated by BMWs as one would expect, but it's actually a great mix of BMW, Porsche, and you got the Ford and the Ferrari as well. So BMW and Porsche, a very dominated car to pick throughout this field, but I think once I manage to sort out the BOP and that, it will be quite even, I would expect. So look at Van Leitner trying to give a headlight flash to Trent Thomas up ahead. It's 2.4 seconds ahead. See that Schweitz and Anderson gap at the moment is only 8 tenths of a second. We're coming up to the, I think, what would be the final lap of the race. We'll see whether Blake will get the white flag, or whether he actually has it. So we'll see as Blake next coming around the final corner. Yeah, so we get the checkered flag. So Blake Neck wins round number 1 of the IMSA Sportscar Championship Oceanic Edition. So congratulations to him. Fully deserved. Sam Doka will come through. I'll see where... Looking at the battle between GTE, at the moment, still 7 tenths of a second gap between Anderson and Schweitz. Gap's opened up to about 9 tenths of a second, almost a second, so Anderson being able to put the hammer down at the moment. So coming out of Le Mans now, gap opening up to about 1.1 second nearly. Anderson being able to get the traction out of there, and as you see the fireworks in the background. And Josh Anderson will win the GTE field for round number 1, and also I'll see that Zach Hanlon doing a big number 11 as he will win the GT3 field, and congratulations to him. Let's see, is there any other battles? I'll see that Cameron Stubber trying to hold on for, I think that's 5th place in GTE for Sync Gaming, and congratulations to him, he will finish 5th, and in 6th in GT3, oh sorry, GTE, it'll be Luca von Leitner. So that was a very, very cracking race. Apologies to everyone that Dan had some technical issues that he couldn't fix during the race. He was having pretty much no display throughout the race, so just having to reboot throughout, and the thing would post, but no, it wouldn't have any display. So yeah, apologies for not being able to sort those technical issues during the race, but we certainly aim to get that sorted for next week. Just gonna see if I can get the Discord link for any of the drivers that want to have a driver interview. Paste. But yeah, taking a look at the race results. So we have Blake Neck taking the overall win. 1 minute and 6 seconds in front of Samuel Docker. Josh Anderson for Vanderbilt Sim Racing wins in GTE. Lubomir Schweitz finishes in 2nd for GTE. Corey Ott rounding out the podium. Trent Thomas had a very eventful race throughout his 45-minute stint, and managed to finish in 6th overall and 4th in GTE. Cameron Stubber running out the top 5 for Sync Gaming. Luca von Leitner in 8th place. Wayne Wortley in 9th, and rounding out the top 10 overall was Andre Lodkowitz. Rano Luke finishes in 11th place. Ian Meredith in 12th place. Coppers Laurent in 13th. Johan Hellemans in 14th. Teddy Leloup in 15th, and Oliver Veroli in 16th overall. And running at the GTE field in GT3, the winner was Zachary Hanlon, finishing 17th overall, but more importantly, the P1 in GT3. Sven Beber in 2nd place in GT3. BJ Kennedy in 3rd. David Lassant in 20th overall, and sadly finishes 2 laps down. Must have had some little technical issues or issues on the track. Christian Heiner, 21st. Jake Goodwin in 22nd. And the retirees, Sam Sutton finishes 6 laps down, 23rd. 24th. Grant Henderson finishes 13 laps down. Alexander Smoller in 25th. Max Cullen Nacho Llanos in 27th, and rounding out the field in 28th position was Nathan Nightingale. Sadly, we haven't got anyone for driver interviews yet. Just quickly let the drivers that are in the chat that want to come for an interview quickly, give them the opportunity to get into the Discord for an interview. But while I quickly do that, just having a look at the up and coming broadcast on Apex Racing TV. We have the BSR Amex 5 Pro Series round number 1 actually starts tonight at Tsukuba 2000 layout. That starts at 2015 GMT. The World F3 Championship at Imola tomorrow night, 2015 GMT. That'll be a cracking one to watch, I think. Open wheelers around Imola, it's always a classic. The Dynamics Sim Racers World GT Series for a number 9 at Road America. That's on the Thursday at 20 GMT. Also, and then the next broadcast after that will be next Monday, the World GT Championship Season 5, Round 8 at Moorsport, Canadian Time Motorsports Park. And the next round of the IMSA Oceanic, the IMSA Sportscar Championship Oceanic Split will be broadcasted at the same time slot, 8:45 GMT in the morning, 16:45 GMT in the Australian Western Standard Time slot. Also, that would be the 19:45 GMT Eastern Daylight Time slot. It would actually be at Watkins Glen Boot, so that'll be an absolutely cracking race to watch. Watkins Glen always very, very high for participation. Saw that the SOFs were fairly solid. I saw that drivers at least turning up with 5.5 to 7,000 iRating showing up. So there's definitely plenty of talent in the field, as we saw tonight. Some solid battling. Sadly, that we had the technical issues with Daniel. Meant that there was one commentator for most of the race, but yeah, we definitely aim to sort those out for next week. But I hope that everyone has an awesome week, and I hope to see you either tuning in for one of the following streams or back next week for the IMSA Sportscar Championship Oceanic Split. And see you soon. Thanks very much.